What happens when you get into debt?
I'll do what I want. I will punch you clean through that window.
And you can't
I don't know work, I can't go.
or won't pay it back.
I can't pay it, I can't pay it.
We meet the High Court enforcement agents who are pushed to their limits.
Don't trouble me again, please. You keep barging me, I don't like it. Don't barge me.
Keep going.
Dealing with desperate debtors
You please open the door.
You can do this. I think you're not human.
in dramatic situations.
I'll break your glasses!
We meet the people who are losing their homes
We've got nowhere to go.
You can't leave him because if that pipe comes off, it's
He'll die.
life-threatening.
and their possessions.
Will it be all right to tow it behind a transit?
Because whatever happens, if you can't pay,
Get your hands off me.
they'll take it away. The number of privately rented households has doubled in the last 15 years, with more than half of tenants now renting in the private sector. But evictions have soared, increasing by over 30% since 2007. (8 a.m. North London). High Court enforcement agents Paul Bowhill and Steve Pinner work across the south of England, enforcing writs and repossessing properties.
Today we're off to Cricklewood with a writ of possession. I don't know if it's a Mr or a Miss.
They're on their way to evict tenant Kekwa Dongu and her family, who've ignored several court orders telling them to leave.
Just look for the number. It's on our left. Top left. Oh, I think they're ready for us.
But this job isn't going to be straightforward.
Good morning.
Well, it's 9 o'clock, no?
What's significant about 9 o'clock?
That's what we were told, 9.
Oh, right.
It says on my paperwork 8.
The family claim they have a letter telling them the eviction would begin at 9 and are protesting about the early arrival of the agents.
Good morning.
It's 9 o'clock. You can't come in. It's supposed to be 9 o'clock, Chief.
There is no time. I don't know
Yeah,
who...
but that's the time they give us, 9 o'clock. That's not trying to grab this.
The writ gives the agents authority to enter the property at any time. Kekwa comes down to back up the father of her children.
No, they want to see 9 o'clock. Oh, God.
It's okay, you don't have to be out until 9, so you've got... that's a bonus. There's always something.
You go wait outside, please.
No.
But they say 9 o'clock.
Paul wants to remain by the door, just in case the tenants try and lock themselves in.
Sorry, you in on that because it's quite cold?
No. This is no longer your house.
Okay, so why are you standing by the edge?
Because that's what I do.
That's what you do. You just stand by the exit.
That's right, yeah. To make sure you don't slam the door.
Sorry?
To make sure you don't
You're
slam
quite
the
funny,
door.
you know.
I am, yeah.
Quite funny.
You think you're funny? Huh? People have to move their stuff. You're always standing down there for. You should move down there, they're moving stuff.
Well, when you're ready.
Kekwa and her family have just 1 hour to pack their essentials and leave. But instead, they're still arguing over the timing of the eviction.
Look, I'm not being objectionable. Why are you being objectionable? You know, we've been perfectly civilised and you seem to be a bit unreasonable.
Tenants get rude and angry because, honestly, they don't want to meet us. We're asking them to leave their home, so they are going to be angry. If you try and shout, you've lost. It's just a no-win situation. With all due respect, and I understand that you've been told...
You don't understand.
I do understand.
I don't think you don't
You've been
understand.
told...
You come inside the house, you say you don't understand.
Forget about the letter and all of that. Out of respect, you can't even give us, half an hour to sort of get off things out.
You have the hour. You have the hour.
You think it's just going to be like this?
Yeah.
I don't know why you're making all this fuss. Just get packed and go.
If you could get out of the way, we could actually do it quicker.
You've got an hour to clear the stuff out, so no problem.
If you've got until 9 to leave, why are you here?
We give you an hour to get your stuff together.
No, nobody told... Listen very carefully. Nobody told us...
No. You listen
9
very
o'clock.
carefully. You listen very carefully.
Okay.
Don't touch me like that.
All right.
You're saying you've got up until 9. Yeah? We're saying if you got up until 9, why are you in here when it's not 9 o'clock
Because
yet?
they told us 8.
And they told us 9.
Oh, sorry, we'll get them here and we'll argue it out.
This guy, you're all the same, you don't know what you're talking about.
The reason that tenants make issues out of things that otherwise are definitely irrelevant is that it diverts their mind from the main thrust of the situation. They're going to be evicted. They're just looking for reasons to, in their mind, discredit us.
Kekwa's son decides to start filming Paul on his phone.
You don't care, thinks it's funny coming to people's houses, getting
I don't think it's funny at all.
You do think it's funny, but you don't seem to care.
I do care.
You don't?
OK, I don't care.
You don't?
All right, then I don't care. I'll go with you, wherever you want.
No, it's not with me, it's...
You're wasting your time with that.
I've got until 9, so I can stay and record you up until 9, so I'm all good.
OK.
Yeah. So what's your name, Mr. Clown?
My name is Paul Bowhill.
Yeah, the name suits you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. It's kind of you to say so. What's your name?
For a clown. Don't worry about my name. My name is...
Steve Pinner.
Look at that big smile on his face, it's funny as well.
I'm just pleasant.
Funny guy. Coming in, standing there, like some military.
With the situation becoming confrontational, the agents need the family to focus on getting ready to leave.
Ugh. Better not lock us in. I will be miffed.
Leave it.
It's 9 o'clock. The tenants' hour to pack is up, and they must leave.
It's 9 o'clock.
I'm going to get a clicker. Key phrase, 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock. 47 times so far we've heard 9 o'clock.
But Kekwa's son wants to go back in to fetch more belongings.
You don't listen to us, we're not going to listen to you. Simple as.
You can't come back in. No, you can't come back in.
What do you mean I can't come back
That's
in?
it, 9 o'clock.
Why are you touching me for?
You've got to go. You've got to go.
Can you not touch me?
You're
Don't touch me like that.
OK?
Do not touch me like that again.
All right.
What started as a simple repossession has turned into a volatile situation.
Shove me back, you're breaking rules, but don't shove me again, please. You keep barging me, I don't like it. Don't barge me.
Keep going.
Don't barge me. This should be seen as assault, because you're forcing us out of the house. Yes, assault. Assault, yeah? And they're gripping me as well.
You're gripping me, I'm saying, leaving me, you're gripping me as well.
Paul and Steve need to act quickly to stop this eviction turning nasty.
That's assault.
Just call the police.
High Court enforcement agents Paul Bowhill and Steve Pinner were in Cricklewood, North London, carrying out an eviction.
This is no longer your house.
Okay, so why are you standing by the edge?
No, they want to see 9 o'clock. Oh, God.
The tenant, Kekwa Dongu, and her family claimed the agents had arrived an hour early.
There was
Oh, you
something.
don't wait outside, please.
No.
Instead of packing to leave,
Leave it.
the family argued with the agents.
Listen very carefully. Nobody told us.
No. You listen
9
very
o'clock.
carefully. You listen very carefully.
Okay.
Don't touch me like that.
When Paul stopped Kekwa's son from re-entering the house,
Excuse me.
No, you can't come back in.
tempers boiled over.
Shove me back, you're breaking rules, but don't shove me again, please. You keep barging me, I don't like it. Don't
Listen,
barge me.
keep going.
Now the agents need to get the situation under control before things get out of hand.
Just call the police,
Why can't you call the police then?
because nobody's assaulting me.
This time, if we carry on, I'll throw water to him.
There's just water there. Is that for throwing over us as the last, do you reckon?
She should have thrown water to you, as I said.
If you do that, sir, that's assault. You can't do that either.
To ease the tension, the agents allow the tenants an extra 15 minutes to pack. Paul and Steve need to give Kekwa, or the children's father, a copy of the writ so they can seek emergency accommodation for themselves and the 4 children.
Can I just explain something just very shortly? Nobody
You know,
gets...
we're spending our time, you know? So
No,
like,
but-
you're taking our time for nothing, we can't even do what
Okay.
you're doing.
The father of Kekwa's children refuses to take the writ. Concerned for their welfare, Paul gives it directly to one of Kekwa's daughters.
This paper, if it's taken to the council office, because there are children involved, they will have to get you emergency accommodation. Wait till they've calmed down, though, but that's the writ. I'm sorry there is such an upset. We are very caring people.
I'm angry that we leave.
Yeah,
I get scared.
we are very caring people. It's okay, it's the worst day of their lives, isn't it? There is never a good day to have your home repossessed.
The agents need to make sure the writ gets passed to one of the parents before they leave.
That's the piece of paper you need to take to the council, OK?
Yes,
So
that's it.
whatever you do, do not lose that piece of paper.
The eviction is almost complete.
Nobody else in here, is there?
I don't think so.
Steve looks around the house to see what possessions are left, but he's in for a shock.
Wow. How on earth can you live like this? Jesus. It never ceases to amaze me how cluttered and dirty some of the properties are. And you have to actually climb over stuff to get into the different rooms. I just don't know how people can live like it.
The family have now had their extra 15 minutes. Their time in the house is up.
Let's just leave. They don't care. They're just doing their job. I don't hate them for that, but he's just doing his job.
It's your job. It's not your fault. It's your job.
They're stopping them.
Thank you.
Yeah, you see now they're stopping. They're stopping, you know.
Are you twins?
Your husband and wife.
Kekwa and her family are now homeless and face an uncertain future.
It might seem that your tensions are getting frayed, but at the end of the day, you just got to let them go on with it. They shout, rant and rave and moan at us, but they're going to go. And that's the bottom line, you know. As unfortunate as it is for them, there is no going back.
Across the UK, the level of personal debt is on the rise. In the last year alone, total personal debt has climbed by £32 billion. Broadstairs, Kent. High Court enforcement agents Brian O'Shaughnessy and Delroy Anglin are on their way to recover nearly £12,000 worth of unpaid rent owed to a landlord.
OK, we're going to see Miss Alexandra Donkin and Mr Mark Howe. We need to collect £11,896.66.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, he's out of a few quid, isn't he? It's a lot of bloody money.
The debt is for a previous property Alexandra and Mark rented. But if they can't or won't pay, the agents can seize goods to offset the debt today. The writ authorises the agents to make peaceful entry through open doors.
Hello, High Court enforcement. Hello, mate, how are you?
All right.
How are you? Look at Mr Mark Howe.
No.
I'm here with a High Court writ for Alexandra Donkin and Mark Howe. Are you the tenant here now?
No, I'm the tenant's brother.
OK, who's the tenant?
No.
Mark Howe, cool. Can you get him on the phone, please, sir?
No.
No? OK, cool.
This response makes Brian suspicious.
I'll take it you're Mark then, yeah? You're Mark, yeah? We're here to discuss it and resolve it in the right way, all right? So are you Mark then, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Mark. When somebody doesn't want to identify themselves when I visit, it shows me their intention. They don't want to pay. But it's stupid, it's silly. We're going to find out who you are, it's just a matter of time when.
Now that Mark has confirmed his identity, Brian can serve him the writ and demand payment.
I don't owe rent
So why's he made a claim against you?
because I lived there. But I didn't pay the rent.
Mark now claims he isn't responsible for the debt.
OK, so I'm here to collect £11,896.66, Mark. How would you like to pay it?
What if I don't owe it?
Then we'll look at removing your assets in your home. Do you work?
No.
Do you claim any benefits? How do you support yourself?
She does.
OK, do you...
She paid me.
So why's he gone to court then?
Because he's an arsehole.
So how can we get this resolved, Mark? Yeah, we've got off on the wrong foot. We've come through here and you told me you're not him when you are, OK?
Well, I was
so
a bit
let's...
shocked.
Well, that's fine. I respect that. I understand that. Yeah?
Yeah.
But I need to get it resolved. Can Alexandra pay it?
She can't pay all in one go, no.
How much can she pay today?
I've no idea.
Should we get her on the phone and see what we can do?
She hasn't got any money at the moment. She hasn't been paid from the job she's doing yet.
OK, do you want to have a word with her? Let her know what's going on?
Ask her what.
Mark isn't cooperating with the agents, so Brian changes tactics.
Can you pay me £11,896.66, sir? Okay, we'll look at your assets to remove, okay? Thank you, Mark. Right, what you got there, mate?
The agents hope the prospect of losing his possessions might prompt Mark to pay. But as they look around the flat for goods to seize, they're in for a surprise.
Why have you got a sword behind the door, Mark? It's a bit naughty, that.
Look, you've got samurai swords in there, mate. If you ain't going to play the game, I might decide those samurai swords might be a bit of a danger to me.
Well, I'm not going to hit you with them.
I don't know what you're going to do with them.
I'll tell you now, why.
Yeah, well, you got a laptop in there, haven't you?
We can't.
Why's that then?
I'm using it.
Really? You were using it. That now belongs to us.
If Mark doesn't take any steps to pay the £11,000 he owes, he could lose his possessions. But Brian and Dell want to give him another chance.
It's a long day, and the weather's horrible. I don't want to give anyone a hard time. If you don't want to cooperate, that's fine, because I just list everything and we'll take it. All right? Now, that's not what I want to do. All right? So if you fix up, I'll fix up, and we start to get to the nitty-gritty and see how realistically what you can get, what arrangement we can do, right? So we can leave you in peace.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay?
I do not expect you to have £11,000. I'm letting you know that. We're realists, yeah? We're going to need today at least £3,000 today to set it off. Can you speak to your partner? Just let them know what's going on. Things can happen. We need a lump sum payment. This is the problem. This is the stumbling block at the moment.
Probably get £1,000 in a couple of days, but today I couldn't get that. And I'm being honest.
There's still no sign of payment. But Brian and Dell must get this case resolved one way or another.
I'm not being funny, mate, but it might be a case of taking what we can get instead of wasting too much time here. Essentially, just a couple of laptops, TV. What is that, Nikon?
Mate, that's expensive.
Is that Nikon?
That's the money.
Lens, wide angle.
It's clear Mark hasn't got the means to pay. But the value of the items in the flat doesn't come close to clearing the £11,000 he owes.
Is there a reason why you're not working?
Yeah, I suffer from liver disease and depression, anxiety.
Okay.
All sorts of things, right? Yeah.
Okay.
This person may be having a bit of a difficult time. There may be some depression issues here, but we still need to make sure everybody's happy and the job's resolved. It's quite difficult, but it's imperative that we take into consideration the whole circumstance that's in front of us.
Mark is still reluctant to offer anything substantial to settle the debt.
Over one winter, we got a little bit behind and we made arrangements to pay it, which we did. But it got to a point where the house was not being maintained. We couldn't use the lights, we couldn't use the toilet. Why should I pay a full rent, £600 a month, and not have the place looked after properly? So I decided not to. That was my decision.
Given Mark's circumstances, Brian offers him a lifeline.
What I'd like to do is get a £2,000 payment in 1 week's time and then a £200 a month arrangement. So you can either agree to it or remove your goods. What would you like us to do?
Agree to it.
If you don't pay it, I will be back here the following day. Do you understand that?
Yeah, to do what?
To remove your goods.
Mark has been offered an extra week to find the money, but his response comes as a shock to the agents.
What if I move them out in the meantime?
Well,
then
that's a whole different ballgame.
What will happen? If you were to dispose of them, you'd be committing a criminal offence, right, because they're not yours to dispose of. The police would be called and you'd be nicked. Now, if I think for one moment that you might, then I would be better off taking them now.
Mark's suggestion that he might remove his goods before the agents return forces them to change their approach.
Do you know what? I need £2,000 today. Get me £2,000 today, or I'm going to remove your goods. I don't like your whole aura. I don't like what I'm hearing. So the next discussion we're going to have will be about payment, okay? So if you can't get it, I'm just going to remove your goods.
Why can't they do things in an amicable way? What difference does it make if we pay £2,000 a day?
The agents have been in the flat for over an hour. Mark's partner, Alexandra, calls.
Hello. We've got bailiffs around the house, and he wants £2,000 today, and I said we haven't got £2,000 today, you haven't been paid. I don't know what you want me to say. No, you just stay out of it. You stay out of it, I said. I'm missing all my horse racing doing this, but it's cost me money. I'll bill them for that. Right, okay.
With Alexandra unable to provide funds, Brian is forced to give Mark an ultimatum.
Okay, Mark, you need to get this £2 grand, or I'm going to remove your goods. I've got a vehicle on the way here now, and I will carry that out. Okay?
It turns you on.
If it turns me on, not particularly, no. It may turn you on.
If you want to take my computer and my television, you do so.
I'll do that because you can't pay the money you owe.
I haven't got it on me today.
How would you get it?
My mother and my sister.
How long would it take?
Well, I suppose it's just a case of going to the cash point and getting it out.
Is it something that could happen today?
I don't want to worry my mother because she's unwell.
All the moment's all guesswork, isn't it? You haven't asked anybody.
Mark finally starts to try and raise some funds. He calls his sister.
Do you want to speak to him? He wanted 2. She can only do 1,000. Okay, sorry about this. I'll get it sorted for you tomorrow. Can you give me the 16 numbers?
Mark's sister agrees to pay half of the £2,000 needed today.
My sister's got to contact her husband, so I don't suppose he's going to be too happy about it. It's just inconveniencing other people.
But Mark still needs to raise the other £1,000.
We've got £1 to go.
So you want me to chase around all night looking for £1,000?
We're here for 11,000. We're actually being very reasonable and asking for 2 at the moment.
So that's not enough?
I need another £1,000.
Or you take the stuff?
Yeah.
Mark decides to go and see his mum to ask for help.
I feel angry now. Very.
You can look at me all you want, that'll make a difference.
Sleep well tonight, won't you?
I'll sleep very well, thanks.
You won't when it comes to judgment day,
Maybe not.
There's no maybe about it.
Brian and Dell wait in the flat for Mark.
People like Mark, it's everybody else's fault. But you know what? It's your fault I'm standing inside your front room. It's your fault we're having this discussion, nobody else's. You know what? I don't particularly want to be inside your home at 7 o'clock at night having this discussion. I'd rather be at home having a Horlicks or a Bovril. Do you know what I mean?
An hour later, Mark returns with another £1,000.
I've got the card.
All right, if you can just sign and telephone number there, Mark.
The case is resolved, for now. But if Mark doesn't stick to his payment plan, the agents will be back.
I just want to say that I'm not here to be difficult. It may seem that way. It's not personal. Okay? I appreciate what you've done. I want you to know that. All right?
Brian and Dell have got the result they needed in a difficult situation. But in Paul and Steve's next case,
You can't do this. I think you're not human.
they meet a woman whose life is turned upside down by a bitter dispute with her landlord.
16 months this has been going on for.
Really?
And I've spent £6.5 grand.
On average, over the last 5 years, tenants in the UK have spent more than £40,000 on rent. The average rent now stands at £1,280 a month. It's rising year on year, and more tenants are being evicted. Langley, Berkshire. High Court enforcement agents Paul Bohill and Steve Pinner are on the road again to carry out another eviction.
There's actually no money on the order.
So theoretically, it's just a straightforward, no-nonsense repossession.
It could be an easy job, or they could just be hiding behind the curtains.
The landlord claims he's been trying to get his property back to live in himself, and that his tenants, Habib and Amel Jabali, have refused to leave with their 3 children.
5, 3, oh, that one.
Well, that's where the ice cream van is.
Mr. What's it?
Now, hang on, you've got to be careful here, because these ice cream men, are sometimes known to have loaded 12 bores.
Loaded combs.
Well, no, because they actually have, like, turf wars, don't they?
The landlord claims the dispute with his tenants has been going on for over a year. This eviction is going to test all of Paul and Steve's negotiating skills.
Something I prepared earlier. It's not often we get luxuries like this.
They've been given a spare key by the landlord.
Hello, sir. Good morning, good afternoon.
Hello, sir. My name is Paul Bowhill. I'm a High Court enforcement agent.
Right.
We have a repossession order for this property.
We haven't got any letter to say that.
No, there is no letter. I have the letter here.
And I move by tomorrow?
No, you've got an hour now to pack just things you need for today.
Right.
You can come back and pick the rest of your stuff up by arrangement with the landlord.
OK.
The family have lived in the house for 6 years. Now Habib has just 1 hour to pack some essentials for himself, his wife, and their 3 children.
Is that your ice cream, Ben?
Yes.
I wouldn't mind a large cone.
You can't have an ice cream now.
I've been moving for the last 2
fast
days,
as you
boss.
can, please. Fast as you can.
I will,
All
boss.
right. We don't want to follow you about. We'll be outside.
OK.
The landlord, Mr. Jalaf, and his father are here to see the tenants evicted.
Now, Joy?
Yeah, he's in.
OK.
They've got an hour to get their stuff out.
Cool, fine, brilliant. 16 months this has been going on for.
Really?
And I've spent 6.5 grand.
Wow.
6.5 grand on this.
Jesus.
To get them out. I'm going to move in myself, me, my wife, and the kids, and hopefully have a lovely life together. 16 months ago, I gave him notice to leave the property. They then turned around and said, I need 6-7 months. He was willing to increase the rent, which I didn't want him to do, but he did it himself anyway. But since then, we've been through the courts.
Habib denies voluntarily paying more rent in order to stay in the house.
He wants just money. For the last 6 years, I've paid him. I had no problem with him, with the payment. She can't afford it. Suddenly, you want to put his rent up. It's ridiculous. And I can't afford it. You know, the money asking for, I can't afford it. But I never missed a payment, never.
Half an hour into the eviction, wife Amel arrives home with her 2-year-old son.
You can't do this. I think you're not human. It's unbelievable. Not even receiving nothing. We not receive any letter. How can they do this? We are paying our rent. Everything is updated. I know he's allowed to get his property, but I've got kids. This is really ridiculous.
OK, calm down.
18-year-old son Fedi steps in to help.
Okay. How long have you got to leave now?
You've got an hour to get personal things together. Go to see the council. They will give you emergency accommodation straight away. And then you need to speak to the landlord to move the rest of the stuff out in the next few days, once you've made arrangements with the council.
The landlord, you know what? He's asking us to pay $1,600, which the property is $1,125. This is his problem.
He's going to move back into the house.
No. Excuse me, no. He wants to kick us out from the house.
Despite the dispute, the family must leave the house today.
You've only got to take with you sufficient to last you for today. Go to the council office.
I'm going back now.
Right.
I live in the council. Every day I'm in the council. They know about, look, 1, 2. Every time I go, I have to sit for 4 or 5 hours. My husband, he's ill. He had a back problem. Now we have to move our stuff.
Amel claims that due to her husband's health problems, he hasn't been able to run his ice cream business properly. Now the family haven't enough money to move.
They look for the reference because my husband, he doesn't receive any because he's worked for his own, you know. They ask you for 5-month deposit, 3 months in advance. How gonna afford it? He just working only 20
But now
hours
that you've been
a week.
evicted, the council will give you a house.
Yes, okay.
And you've now got the letter to take.
Tenants tell us it's the landlord's fault. You know, they want to do this, they want to do that. And I try and impress on them that we don't know the landlord, like we don't know the tenant. We're brought in just specifically to do this job. We have no history with either of them, so we can't take sides.
I have a problem with my back, man. For the last 3 years like this. It's something heavy. This last week I was in physiotherapy. And now I'm back again because different stuff. I shouldn't.
The agents have been at the property for nearly 2 hours. Amel is still in shock.
Of course it's upsetting. Who accepts going in the street? Nobody. Plus when you got children, I mean, look, the food was ready for tonight. Can you imagine? Expecting my kids coming from the school to have their dinner? This is unfair. It's just unfair. What you can do? Nothing.
The tenants have a legal right to return to the property at a later date to collect their possessions.
Are they moving everything?
Pretty much. Well, looks like it.
But it becomes clear that they want to take everything today.
You didn't have to take everything now. You didn't have to take everything now. No, we said only your personal effects.
Yeah.
You can make an arrangement and collect everything else in an day.
I don't want to see him no more.
Okay.
After
Okay. We are coming across people that say, I don't want the landlord anywhere near my property, I'll get it out now. And we've been on many occasions where the house has been empty in less than an hour. You know, they all dig in and get everything out.
How are we doing? Are they going okay? Are they?
Yeah, all right, yeah.
They're not panicking?
left?
No, it's all right. We're not chasing it for you. But you don't need to clear all this stuff today.
Yeah, but he's going to be in the house, isn't he?
Well, he'll have the keys, but what is there? He can't take the stuff away. We'll walk around and do a video of everything that's in the house. Right. For that very reason, for security reasons. So we know, and it's on camera, what's actually
I'll let him know.
What a good lad you are.
Thank you.
You're just steady, absolutely together.
Thank you.
All right. But if you're my son, I'll be proud of you. I'm sure he is.
Thank you.
Despite being told they can apply for emergency housing, Mrs. Jabali is still worried she has nowhere to go.
What's happened is just people, very bad people. They haven't got hearts, you know? They don't care if you are in the street with the kids or not.
Paul and Steve have given the family extra time to pack, but now they must leave the house they've called home for the last 6 years.
I'm going to show you something. It's mean to us. Look. There is no place like home.
Amel is worried about where the family are going to sleep tonight.
It's 2:45. Tonight, I'm sure we're not gonna be housing before 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning.
The eviction is over. Mr. Jalaf has his property back.
Kind of feel bad for the tenants because I gave them every opportunity to, move out on their own terms. But, unfortunately, my hands were tied. It's not a nice thing to do, but, I had no choice but to do that.
More than 8 million households across Britain have no savings at all. And the number of families who have debt problems has increased by almost 1/3 since 2012. Luton, Bedfordshire. High Court enforcement agents Brian O'Shaughnessy and Delroy Anglin are on their way to recover a £4,500 debt. But this isn't the first time the agents have visited the debtor, Shirley Davis.
Oh, all right, don't worry, but I think we've got next job. We've been here once prior. What's her name again?
Shirley Davis. She owes Mr. Mustafa Al-Naziri £4,496.99
today.
On their previous visit, Shirley refused to let the agents into her house.
First visit when I came with Graham, she went to the top window. I listed some vehicles and put relevant paperwork through to get some sort of reaction, but she hasn't even called. So we might catch them in now. It's 6 o'clock nearly. park down here, see if we can get in the side maybe straight away.
As this is the agent's second attempt to recover the money for their client, they're not taking any chances. They go round to the back of the house to make sure this time they get in.
Hello? Hello? High Court Enforcement, sir.
Hello, how are you?
Hello, sir.
How are you?
Not too bad.
Sorry to disturb you, sir. We're High Court Enforcement agents. We're looking for Shirley Davis.
She's not here.
Does she live here still?
No, she doesn't. What are you looking for her for?
Well, it's regarding High Court. We've got a High Court writ, sir.
I'm her ex-husband.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
How long have you been her ex for?
Well, we're not even divorced yet, but...
Dale, sorry to interrupt you, sir. Sorry to interrupt you. When I first visited, she was at the top window, so she is here.
Does she live here?
She's not here.
Does she live here?
She stays here, so...
Okay.
Okay.
Shirley's husband claims she no longer lives at the address, but Dell is suspicious.
Do you know Mr. Al-Naziri?
I don't know.
Mustafa? No, someone called Mustafa. You don't?
No. What's that you're saying?
It's a High Court writ, so we don't have any information other than what we have.
How much is that?
Well, I can't say too much unless you want to pay it for it.
Well, she's my wife after all.
She's your wife now?
Yeah.
So she's not an ex?
No, we're not divorced yet.
All right. So she's your wife, and she lives here. All right then.
Okay.
If you run into that, we can.
Occasionally.
Yeah, when it suits you. Yeah.
So.
All right.
So can you leave a copy of this?
We've been here too many times. We left letters for her, and she's not phoned and she's not contacted nobody. Where is she now?
I don't know where she's gone.
Do you have a phone number for her?
It's not for me to give you her phone number. Please, let me phone her.
So you call her, talk to her,
let me
tell her. May I go get you back?
Yeah, man.
All right. When people are being evasive with a debt issue, it's actually normal. I expect them to lie. On a few occasions when people are honest, I'm actually quite taken aback, and it makes you want to help them.
The agents have been in the house for 5 minutes when another man suddenly comes into the kitchen.
How are we doing, sir?
What's up? No problem. What's up?
You're looking for Mom because she was someone.
Looking for Mum? What do you mean looking for Mum? Looking for who? Who you come to look for? What's the name?
Shirley Davis.
There's no Shirley Davis here. So what do you want?
Talk to me.
Okay.
We've spoken to her husband. If that's your father, I don't know, because you haven't said who you are yet. All right? So I'm taking the view that this is your son, yeah? Okay. And I'm taking the view that the woman that we've come here to see is your mum. We've spoken to your dad. Your dad's going to call your mum, so we can try and get this resolved.
Who's he calling, though? There's not... What are you talking about? Shirley Davis?
He knows who it is.
Shirley Davis? It's your mother we come for.
What's your mum?
He just told you that.
What's the name?
He just told you who we come for.
Shirley Davis.
There's no Shirley Davis. What are you talking about?
That's not what...
There's no Shirley Davis. You know what? Look, don't talk to him. Come out with this attitude. Don't come to this attitude. There's no attitude here.
There's no Shirley Davis here.
Look,
we've already established the facts.
Yeah, there's no
We've already established the facts.
There's no Shirley Davis here. There's no Shirley Davis here.
It's a stalemate. Will Brian and Dell ever come face to face with the elusive debtor Shirley and get the £4,500 they came for?
Who's Shirley Davis?
Brian and Dell were in Luton, collecting a debt of £4,500.
We're High Court Enforcement agents. We're looking for Shirley Davis.
The debtor's husband told the agents she'd moved.
She's not here.
Does she live here still?
No, she doesn't.
And then another man in the house told them he'd never heard of her.
Who you come to look for? What's the name?
Shirley Davis.
There's no Shirley Davis here.
It's your mother we come for.
Is it your mum?
He just told you that.
What's the name?
He just told you who we come for.
Shirley Davis.
There's no Shirley Davis. What are you talking about?
That's not what...
There's no
You know what? Look, don't talk to him. Come out with this attitude. Don't come to this attitude. There's no attitude here.
There's no Shirley Davis here.
The agents suspect both men are holding back the truth. Now they have to skillfully get to the heart of the matter.
Speak to your father then if you don't know, because he's told us.
You tell me who Shirley Davis is. Who's Shirley Davis?
All right.
Yeah, it's quite difficult when the debtor isn't available to talk to, but when you have family members there who can get hold of her and choose not to put you in contact, it's another wall, it's another obstacle. and I'll prod a little further, and I'll ask the appropriate questions till I get the answers I need. So just a bit more work like Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, so to speak.
So where's this warrant from the High Court? Can I see it?
But if you don't know who Shirley Davis is, why am I showing you?
Let me see.
Why am I
Yeah,
showing
but
you?
from the house. I want to see if it's got the household
What's your
name.
All right, give me something. What's your name?
Get me.
What's your name?
I'm Davis.
You're Davis.
Yeah.
That's your surname?
Yeah.
What's your first name?
Sean.
All right, Sean. I'm Delroy, okay?
The man finally admits he is the debtor's son, Sean. But then his dad returns after speaking to Shirley on the phone.
She don't know no most different. She don't know most different. Don't know what you're talking about.
He no longer wants to cooperate with the agents.
You broke into my home.
We haven't broken into your
yes,
home.
you have. You come
We
in
have
here
not broken
unauthorized.
into. We don't need to be authorised, sir.
My
We've
friend.
not. Look, I've not come here to disrespect nobody. You know, I've explained why I'm here. We've come through an unlocked door. Now, I'm not
As I
leaving
say,
until we resolve
it is
this.
my
So
right as a citizen of England.
I've been commanded to come here by the High Court. All right.
Sure, but this is private
You know
property.
something? Call the police then, so we can do our job, because I can see where this is going.
So you tell me what you want to do. There's no payment.
Okay, so then we need to go and have a look.
Fine. Then we need to look. We need to look around the yard then, bro, so we can put this to bed. All right.
Even in Shirley's absence, Brian and Dell can seize assets to cover the £4,500 debt.
All these things in this house belong to me. Everything in this house is mine.
I know it's yours, but let him look.
If Shirley's husband can't prove the goods in the house belong to him, the agents can take them away. But the bare floorboards on the stairs suggest the family have hit hard times.
Is it council or you bought the house?
Council.
All right. Okay.
Downstairs, the agents find letters from other debt collection agencies. It soon becomes clear that the assets in the house don't come close to clearing the £4,500 debt.
It's obvious to me that you haven't. I don't expect you to have £4,500 in your back pocket. You understand me? But some arrangements got to be put in place, innit?
The only option left is to set up a payment plan. But this can't be done in Shirley's absence.
We need to speak to her so we can assess her situation.
Yeah.
Your dad, is he retired?
Yeah.
Okay, situation with mum.
Same thing, she's not working.
There's no goods here to cover the debt other than, well...
A Samsung television. I'm not going to take the man's television.
I'm not going to take telly. I'm inclined to return this
yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Because we're wasting our time.
After an hour at the house, the agents have no choice but to walk away empty-handed.
Sean, it doesn't mean this problem's going to go away though either. Yeah, there may be other avenues that the claimant can go down. They can take further legal advice. Sorry if us standing here upset you or this gentleman here. Do you understand? It's not personal. Yeah, we're not here to judge you or your family situation.
All right. All right, sir, all right. See you later. I'm coming at your house, yeah? Bless.
It's been a frustrating case for the agents.
The house is effectively empty. There's no carpet. The only thing of value is a telly and a keyboard. Other enforcement agencies are clearly after them. Judging from how they live, I would say they probably don't have anything.
The case hasn't been resolved today, but the claimant has a right to send the agents back to try again.
It doesn't mean it's gone away. The issue hasn't gone away. The issue hasn't been dealt with. Just because we couldn't resolve it doesn't mean it won't be resolved. So that's quite important as well.
Emma and Rylan have been teasing us. We know the game is changing, but what surprises have they got up their sleeves this time? The Big Brother live launch is tomorrow night at 9.